Yes, friends, what's happening? And welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you're doing well. I had a restful weekend. I really do hope that enjoyed the football, though. If, like me, and almost certainly you're a Chelsea fan, you would have had a dagger in the heart via a long throw against away at Brentford. And then all hate watches collapsing, at least in terms of top-tier opposition. Liverpool blagging a win. As they did, I reacted to that on the second channel. And although we all enjoy Man United failing, I did kind of sneakily hope they would wriggle past Man City, and then that would be funny as well. But oh well, we move. Things are okay for Chelsea. We're generally in pretty good shape, ultimately, and we're learning. We're learning about players that aren't quite ready to start in Premier League games. But I do want to speak about news today, Chelsea news. So a little rundown in today's video. We are speaking about the referee decision, why it wasn't offside, the equalising goal. Felt like a winning goal for Brentford. Won't spend too much time on that. Interestingly, Kenan Yildiz, the superstar winger for Juventus, apparently we went in for him quite hard. Might still be interested in him. But you'll be saying, Yen, we've just bought two left-sided wingers in Gittins and Garnacho. Are either of them, I ask you this, are either of them nailed on high quality starters like Neto, like Stevau, and indeed, at times Palmer at right wing? I'd argue no, both potential. So maybe we are still in for Yildiz, because that's what certain, publications, headlines are saying. And say it quietly, yeah, this isn't a news headline. It's been spoken about a little bit on certain Chelsea platforms, but this is me talking here. If we are willing, in a pinch, and we're often finding ourselves in pinches of late, to throw Tyreek George in the striker position, could we do that to a better effect, which by the way isn't hard at the moment? Tyreek's a great player, but he's just so poor up front, in my opinion. Could we do that with Garnacho? We're going to get into that. And also, an article here on the Telegraph by Sam Wallace that was published yesterday at time of recording. Apparently, Bayern Munich waiting for Sterling. How can this guy, Raheem Sterling, go from being wanted by a lot of European elite Champions League teams to quite literally training in a tiny little box room at Chelsea? Well, we gotta find out. We are going to find out. So, it's going to be a good video. Thank you for joining me. If you do want to help me out, man, why don't you subscribe? Because we are close to 200,000. I feel like I should stop asking people to subscribe because I know it's a little bit jarring. And you know what? I'll make you this promise. Once we get to 200,000 subscribers, I'll at least do it less. I promise. I know it's annoying and it probably doesn't even change anything. And it is a vanity metric. I 100% get that, bro. I know. It's so 2016. Like and subscribe, bro. But if we could just do the 200,000, yeah? That would be nice. Thank you. I am gonna, ask for likes. I don't know about this freaking hype point system. There are many of you that are genuine supporters of mine, and if you have hype points, you can drop them down there. It may or may not help me. Stark times in the YouTube algorithm, so I would appreciate your support. Where to start? I'll tell you. I'm going to use ChelseaChronicle.com, a Chelsea news website, to talk about the VAR situation. Journalist Kieran Gill has stated that the VAR official James Bell had informed the referee in that late equaliser at Brentford, Stuart Atwell, that they deemed there not to be enough impact from Rotara and believed the referee's call should stand, quote, on-field decision was that no offside occurred. Yeah, because, hold on. Officials deemed no clear impact from the Django Ouattara before Carvalho scored. Right! Firstly, these moments of frantic last gasp stoppage time, whatever the freaking heck it was, goals. Yeah, linos can't see, refs can't see. That's when you get involved, VAR. It's not like the refs staring at a foul right in front of him and goes, oh, no, that's not a yellow or it's not a red. That's when you go, well, he's looking at it. It's clear. It's an open grass. Let him have a decision. When there's all this going on, you get involved, yeah. And Ouattara absolutely was going for the ball. It's not like he was standing in an off-follow position being like, oh, not touching it. He was like, oh, the football. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. So, excuse my French. Here it comes. Bollocks. Absolute horse stuff. Whatever. I'm happy to let it. Clearly, I'm happy to let it go. I've already let it go. But you know what I mean? Like, nonsense. Yeah. I think it's after the Fulham game. They're going, oh, let's just, give them one against. There's another team in West London. Let's just, take her away from Fulham. We give her to Brentford. Can do one, mate. So, let's talk about some other stuff. Yildiz. So, Tutto Sport reported Juventus raised a wall. They did a Trump. Or attempted a Trump. After Chelsea and Arsenal, but more importantly, Chelsea approached Kenan Yildiz. Very, very exciting 20-year-old winger. Of course, Calcio Mercato backed up our interest as well. And this is an article that's come out today on Sport Witness. So it's rotating around the news. Chelsea were really, really in for Kenan Yildiz, the 20-year-old winger. If you have a look here on his Transfermarkt, he's predominantly a left-sided winger. Oh! What foot is he? Right foot or left foot? He's both. He is both. Very much looks like a Maresca player. He's had 3 appearances so far in the league, 4 goal involvements. The one that got away. Look, Yildiz is different gravy, granules, mate. He's the poster boy. He would have been very, very difficult to take away. But many of you who watch elite football, yeah, and watch this kid, he's dual nationality, Turkey and Germany. I think he plays for Turkey, yeah? That's what we call them now. Yeah, he would have been mustard, mate. He would have been a high-profile signing. When everyone's talking about, oh, get these guys in, get the Rodrigos in, and this, that, and the other, and not Garnacho. We'll speak about Garnacho in a moment. I think so far, a lot of us have been a little bit disappointed from Gittins. Now, I say that because Gittins had so much, I said it yesterday, he's had so much experience at the top level, but top 5 league, over 100 appearances, games and goals in the Champions League, and I find it fascinating how he looks so undercooked, because you look at, again, to use the comparison for the potentially 3rd time, a very slight, small, diminutive 18-year-old Brazilian who's never been in Europe before, just comes in and goes, yeah, Premier League, don't worry about it, mate. It was supposed to be the other way around. It was supposed to be Gittins is the guy that balls out like, yeah, I'm 1v1, I don't need space to run into, just, give me the ball at my feet, I'll take my man on, I'll cut inside, score goals, get assists, win penalties. We've not seen that. Now, it would be silly to give up on a young 20-year-old player just 3 or 4 game weeks into the Premier League season, but it does suddenly make you think, Chelsea have got an elite team. We've got if everyone's fit, if everyone's fit, we can make a very strong lineup. Maybe we start João Pedro up top, we start maybe Esteval on the right, with Cole Palmer in the 10, and they swap, and then you play Pedro Neto out of position on the left, which is, he's a really great operator on both sides. He'd prefer to be on the right. But there is a little bit of a glaring, problem there. Now, they're both young, Garnacho and Gittins. Maybe one of them gets sold in the summer, but you'd make a huge loss on Gittins, surely. But maybe Gittins goes on loan to Strasbourg. I don't know. Maybe I'm hoping he comes good. Like I said, I'm literally already trying to flog him in my head, which is nonsense. Because again, listen, reliably informed by people who know lots more about football than I, that Gittins is a very exciting talent and can do very exciting, get out your seat stuff. But it brings me on to Garnacho, who of course looked very poor at the back post, but looked very exciting getting an assist. Now, we know that Maresca sees Garnacho as a winger. He said it, and he's played as a winger. But AI overview on Google, that can't be wrong, says Garnacho has played as a centre-forward striker and a 2-0 win for Man United against Everton in the 22-23 season. He's played as a free role. He's played as centrally before. Apparently, developmentally, he's played centre-forward before. Now, I bring this up, okay, because I'm not trying to start Garnacho as a striker for Chelsea, but in different game states, which happen all too often when we're seeing Tyreek George being thrown up top by Maresca. Maybe, rather than that, you play a chaos agent like Garnacho in there, with like really tight feet that's going to just dart around, move around like a maniac, win penalties maybe. I don't know. I'd like to see it. What I'm saying is, I'm not trying to pitch it as a genuine long-term idea. What I am saying is, I wouldn't mind seeing it as just deployed, just have a go. Yeah, just have a go. You know, if like you wasn't available, Joao Pedro's not working, you want to drop him back a bit, rather than just keep throwing Tyreek George up there, who doesn't get any passes off or the touches or anything, very few touches when he's in the centre forward. What would happen if you had Garnacho there? And indeed, you've got a starting proper left winger option. Anyway, look, I'm just reacting to the news. Don't shoot the messenger. Chelsea apparently went in for Yildiz, end of the transfer window, and apparently, we're not done. Right, I'm going to take my hoodie off, so let me pause the recording. Oh, it's better. Studio lights, man. Very warm. Glasses on. Right, so I've said silliness about Garnacho striker. We've reacted to the Yildiz stuff. Yes, he's worth, transfer mark says he's worth 50 million euros, which is what, 42 million pounds. But there's no way he would have been let go for that amount of money. His salary is currently 5 million euros net, which is very, I think, achievable for Chelsea. Having seen their summer offer rejected, it's unclear what Chelsea will return. Should they make a fresh approach? Maresca's side will need big money. Yeah, we need big money this time. Right, Raheem the Dream. What's going on here then? Sam Wallace writes the following because this is interesting. I saw Bayern Munich in a headline somewhere and I went, what? Of course, they signed Nico Jackson and we have been very confused about the terms of his contract. We'll be playing in midweek, which is scary because he'll almost certainly dunk on us. Wallace writes the following on the Telegraph, though. There must be a club somewhere out there for Raheem Sterling, once one of the big players of his age, but now a professional footballer with a contract, but without a purpose. 2 weeks after the transfer window closed. The decline of Sterling since his move to Chelsea in 2022 has been clear to see, and of course Vieira alone at Arsenal, although the current state of limbo is still a remarkable pause on a great career. It is. Not 31 until December, the winner of 4 Premier League titles and 80 caps for England. That is incredible. How the Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca was brutal on the issue this week. He's not even seen Sterling, nor his fellow exile Disasi since the end of last season. They're just out of sight, out of mind, quite literally, guys. By the way, apparently the third member of the Musketeers, David Datro Fofana, we have found a place for him. I'm quickly going to search this while I'm speaking to you because I believe Chelsea confirmed David Datro Fofana transfer as loan details emerge. He's gone to Turkey. There you go. So that's one of the 3. But Disasi, it was one of the high-profile guys. Sterling is the guy. Disasi's younger. I think he had more suitors. They train separately, they eat separately, they come and they go. One presumes like the training ground phantoms. There was, Maresca added, no way back to the first team. It does feel like if you just needed a centre-back in a pinch, why not? I suppose you want to play Josh Champon. You know, give Josh a chance over Disasi. Yeah, I've changed my mind on Disasi. Get out of here! It does not change the fact that Sterling is still one of the most lucrative contracts at the club, in the Prem, mate, and one that runs for another 2 years. But it's hard to imagine a player once so relentlessly competitive can find much solace in his inconspicuous farewell. I mean, fortunately for him, not for us, he's at a point in his life, even if he's got ambition, he's got money, he's got children, he lives in London, his kids are in schools. He's making bank. Like, it could be worse, couldn't it? Like, it could be. Let's be real. It could be worse. I'm not trying to downgrade or denigrate what is probably a tough time for a professional footballer, but I mean, like, in what's happening in the world at the moment, context is key. As for the possibilities that might have passed him by, they have looked attractive. What might be going on? Well, obviously, the first barrier of his salary, 300 boys a week. That is big time peas, mate, you must say. But still, Man United were interested in the summer of last year. Okay, so not the one that just went. And got little encouragement from the player. Oh. He's done with Manchester, mate. He's done with Liverpool and Manchester. He wants to be in London. By the way, perfect time. If you want to laugh at Man United, go on my second YouTube channel. Wait till this video's done. Go and search Football Yannick on YouTube and watch this shocking Man United video I've done lately. Earlier today, in fact, this morning. Incroyable. Very funny. Yeah, you got a little encouragement to go to Man United. No, thank you. Yucky. Stay away from me. Don't come over here. I'm not going there. No. So Bayern Munich inquired on deadline day. This is mental. I suppose I was about to say who manages Bayern Munich, and I was like, oh yeah, Vincent Kompany, his former teammate. So he's seen Raheem play. That literally. I know Bayern Munich are like one of the most, how do you say it, like political footballing institutions in the world, where, like, you know, top down, there's so many people involved, ex-players give their 2 cents all the time, and I wonder how much influence a coach like Vincent Kompany, who, by the way, was like 11th choice manager, how much, say, he actually has in the sea of sporting directors and, you know, officials and scouts. But you'd have to say, in the case of Raheem Sterling, it's got to be Kompany that goes, I used to play with him, he's pretty good, should we get him? Mad. Bayern Munich. Negotiations with Chelsea, of course, at the time they were talking about Nico Jackson. And Napoli were also interested. Guys, what the Scudetto winners, Napoli. Antonio Conte's title-winning, Scudetto-winning Napoli. The German winners, superpower Bayern Munich. But we know Bayer Leverkusen and other clubs interested in Sterling. How do you not get that done? How do you let him train, like, in this tiny little box room when those clubs came knocking? Is it like a pride thing because you'd have to pay, do what an Arsenal again, like loan him and pay 65% of his wages? But even that's better. At least you're platforming him in a league in Serie A or the Bundesliga that he can actually do bits in. What has happened here? Hold on, this is your headline here. This is what's blowing my freaking mind. This is blowing my mind. Like, that is genuinely blowing my mind. For reasons not clear, Sterling seemed reluctant to move overseas. Or even away from that. Okay, I'm starting to lose sympathy for Sterling as the story goes on. Because this isn't Turkey. This isn't Saudi Arabia. This is Naples, bro. This is Bayern Munich. Vincent Kompany's the manager, your old teammate. Harry Kane's there. Not everyone speaks English, bro. You don't have to learn a word of German, mein Bruder. You don't have to sprechen Sie Deutsch. Yeah? You just speak English. Harry Kane can barely speak that, so I don't know what I'm digging at Harry Kane. I love him, captain of England. It's just such an easy target. Alright, yeah, I'm losing sympathy for Sterling here as this article goes on. There's been interest from the Saudi Pro League, but that's not gone anywhere. Fine. You don't have. That's such a massive culture change and loads of, geopolitical and stuff. Fine. Don't go to Saudi. But the others, bro, Naples. I mean, he might have been like, ooh, training under Conte. Don't really fancy that. But still, man, come on, bro. He was signed by Chelsea in the single summer where Bowley, of course, was playing sporting director. Loads of mistakes there, didn't we? We made loads of mistakes. We did the whole Aubameyang, Koulibaly party. Do you know what I mean? It went Pete-tong. 3 years as senior consortium, him and Badalik Bali have been running the show. The notion of signing a senior player with no resale value now is a foreign concept. Chelsea are paying their recent HMRC settlement in rubles. Basically now, the wage and age thing. This goes on to talk about Sterling's really good history, and of course, he's been a really successful footballer. Mental! That's blown my fragile little mind, I must say. That is incredible, bro. That the champions of Germany, Champions League and title winners, same with Naples. It's just incredible. Why, bro? Even if it's for a loan for the season to just I don't know. Let's go live in Naples. You're 31. Just for a couple of years. Your kids are still young. They're going to grow up in England. You're going to have your whole life in England. Just go and play football at these iconic clubs. Win more trophies. Look, it's not for me to say. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But I must say, I, before this, thought it was Saudi Arabia, Turkey, or take a 80% pay cut and go to Fulham. And rip up a lot of your wages that are owed from Chelsea, which are hard, genuinely hard decisions. And I sort of understand it until these popped up. That blew my freaking mind. I knew Bayer Leverkusen were there, but also so was Ten Hag. So that was not the most appealing destination. But it was Champions League, bro. Anyway, incredible scenes, really. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you, as always, for supporting me, for liking, subscribing. Do check out the second channel as well if you want to. Football Yannick, daily content on there. Not in here as well. Different surroundings, so it looks fresh content. 4K. I'm filming in 4K on the second channel. Isn't that nice? All right, mate. Take care. Peace.